Welcome to Rick's Picks. We are about to enter another Gatecrash event here. Alright, and for our first pick, we have some options. All of them are white. I guess the two best cards in this pack here by a fair margin are the Kingpin Spat and the Illuminate Primordial. It's actually a pretty hard choice for me here because as much as I want to go ahead and take the big rare here, I think the Kingpin Spat will most of the time just be better. It's not always that you will get to 7 mana in this format. I would rather just make sure that I can win quicker here. It's pretty interesting. I guess since I did take this card a lot already in this format, I think I'm gonna go ahead and just take the Primordial here. It's kind of tough. I don't think that's necessarily the best option for us, but oh well. Here we are faced with a choice of Sky Knight Legionnaire versus Cynic of Tithys. I believe the Legionnaire is the better card, but the Cynic of Tithys leaves me open so that I can be Orzhov or Boros. I think I'm gonna go ahead and take the Legionnaire. I mean, the Cynic is pretty good, make no mistake, but the Legionnaire, it flies, it has haste, which is pretty important for most Boros decks. Since, haste is kind of a battalion out of nowhere. You have two creatures with battalion and then all of a sudden you drop a hasted guy and you go to town. So yeah, I think I'm gonna take that. Again, it's a kind of a hard pick because I really like Cynic of Tithys, but luckily I get to pick one here right now. Could also take an Ember Beast, which is a pretty good card, but I don't think I will. The Cynic is awesome. And we get Syndic number 2. Here, of course, we could take a Kingpin Spat, but I think I'm gonna take the Syndic because I kinda want to try my hand at Boros here. My last video was showcasing an Orzhov deck. I guess we should go ahead and see how Boros holds up, right? It's a pity because the Kingpin Spat is an amazing card. Alright, well, our Boros plan may be getting the short end of the stick here right now because I think we're just going to take the Devour Flash. It's probably the best card in this pack here. And blue does not go too well with red and white since, both Izzet and Azorius are in Return to Ravnica, not Gatecrash. Yeah, alright. Let's go ahead and take the Devour Flash. Here we are back to having some good Boros options. This thing has impressed me a lot. I think it's usually just playing better than a Giant Growth, even though it costs 2 mana. But the fact that you can, divvy up on the bonuses means that often you can get some blowouts out of this card. And, combat tricks is, they are pretty important for most Boros decks, since you're gonna be making some questionable attacks with your smaller creatures just so that you can get Battalion active. Alright, I think I'm gonna take a Gru Keyrune. Maybe we will end up with some hybrid of Gru and Boros. I like both guilds actually, so we shall see. And I guess Gru decks even are fine for me so that I can live long enough to cast my Primordial, since Gru tends to, accelerate with stuff like Verdant Haven. But since I don't think we need to jump into Gru right now, especially since we got a perfectly reasonable white card here. Let's try and take that. We have options. We could definitely be splashing for black just to get a Devour Flash going. Shall see. Aerial Maneuver is a decent card. Balustrade Spy is also a decent card. We could take that just in case we end up being uh, Orzhov. Yeah, I think area maneuver is not that important. We could just try to get the better card here from this pack. Armored Transport is again pretty good at Boros deck, since he can help you get Battalion with very minimal costs, and you know you can always try to get them with combat tricks, since they usually will block a transport with like a defensive card that will not die to it, just because they are assuming you are attacking just to get Battalion active, and then you go ahead and pump him. Should be good. Back on Apparition. It's another card that I think is kind of underrated in a Boros deck, because it actually, you can like cast a Back on Apparition at the end of his turn, so they get an instant creature out of nowhere, and then you can get Battalion active during your turn. They will not be expecting that. Ooh, a Verdant Haven. So if we end up being Gru, we have a couple of good acceleration options here. We get another Primordial here from this pack, and pretty much nothing else. I mean, there's a Grizzly Spectacle that is by far the best card in this pack, I would say. The problem is we did pass a couple Kingpin Spats, so that's unfortunate. But I think I just can't not take this Spectacle here. Could take a Madcap Skills, but as much as I like that card, I don't think it's first pick material. Whereas a removal spell, ooh, look at that, and now we got a Sunhome Guild Mage, man. And a Gru Rage Beast. All cards that I like a lot. But I think I'm gonna take a Sunhome Guild Mage. I mean, the Rage Beast is awesome, but at this point I'm already pretty deep into white, black, and a bit deep into red. Not much, but this will make me more committed. Still, I think this can probably make me disregard the black cards that I have. Especially this thing, since it costs double black. But yes, this is by far the best card in this pack. And now you get a Homing Lightning and a Mugging. I am actually not sure which is better. Mugging is obviously pretty neat, especially when you got a couple of Syndics out. Yeah, alright, let's try to hide these black cards and green cards for now. No, this is not a black card. So, we could take a Mugging or a Homing Lightning. I think a Homing Lightning is overall the better card, because it's an instant and it can deal with more creatures. Mugging is obviously awesome, but I think I'm just gonna go ahead and take the Lightning. Has done lots of good stuff for me. Righteous Charge or Basilica Guard. Since I am kinda committed now to go Boros, I think I'm gonna take the Righteous Charge. Even though the Basilica Guards are pretty good, even in a Boros aggressive deck, since they can, you know, help you win the race by both blocking and by extorting your opponents. Yeah, I think I'm gonna take the Righteous Charge. It's just more suited for a Boros deck. Here we get an Angelic Addict that is a pretty easy pick, I would say. Another Sky Knight. That's a good sign. And here we... Ooh, I was gonna say we could take Martial Glory, Basilica Guards, and Ember Beast, but I think Fire Fist Striker should be the best option here. It's pretty good when it works. And, you know, with a couple of Sky Knight Legionnaires, we can get some attacks out of nowhere with this guy, so... Alright. We got a Throw, which is good in Orzhov decks, defensive Orzhov decks. Could just go ahead and take a Shattering Blow, I think. Yeah. If you end up facing some problematic artifacts, even though I'm not even sure there are any problematic artifacts in this format. But I guess we shall see. Here we got a bunch of nothing. We could take a riot gear, but I think I'm gonna take an executioner swing. It's an acceptable card, and I don't want to play against it. Guild Gate, pretty nice option. I guess Shielded Passage is a fine sideboard option. Alright, now we are starting to get all the nonsense. Let's see what pack 3 holds. Alright, Sky Games. Alright, here we get an Angelic Skirmisher, which is obviously a pretty good card in decks like this. Giving all of your guys lifelink can definitely tilt a race way in your favor. So let's go ahead and take it. Get another Primordial here, but I think I'm just gonna go ahead and take a Boros Elite. We have way too few creatures. Maybe I should get a Syndic of Tithes. I'm not sure, since yeah, we don't have a lot of early beaters. I think in this situation here, the Syndic will almost always be better than the Elite. Is it Elite or Elite? I'm not sure. One more reason for me to take the Syndic. Okay, Urbis Protector. Yeah, I guess it's a fine card. Has done some good stuff for me. Madcap Skills is cool as well, but I think I'm gonna go for the big angel guy. 5 fire, 5 alarm fire. This I don't think is really the deck for it. So let's go ahead and just take a Griffin. Here we get another Griffin, but we do have a Viscopa Guild Mage that I like a lot. But yeah, the Griffin should be our best option here right now. Especially since we kinda want to load up on creatures here. Okay, pretty good. Court Street Denizen, and not much else. Scorchwalker is a fine option too, since, you know, especially because of the Blood Rush ability, can definitely win games. Alright, Martial Glory number 2. I guess we are going to take that. Don't really need a Night Watch, even though it has nice synergy with the Denizen. I think this is more important for us. Okay. Yeah, Towering Thunderfist is definitely a card. I would say it's better than the Night Watch, since you can also gain Vigilance, and it's much harder to kill than 2/2/2 tokens. Okay. Another Shielded Passage. Alright, getting there. Nav Squad Commandos, which I would like less to face here. A Totally Lost or Shadows Lies. I guess a Totally Lost. It's a pretty annoying card to play against. Alright. Yeah, I guess if I had taken the Kingpin's Path rather than a Illuminate Primordial, this draft would have gone in an entirely different direction. I guess this is a more top-heavy version of Boros than the usual Boros decks that I'm accustomed to seeing in this format. We shall see how we go. Alright, we have 24 possible cards here. Maybe this is not really the deck for an armored transport. I mean, the only battalion cards that I have are the Striker and the Commandos. This guy is really at its best in a deck full of, you know, Skyjacks and Halberdiers. Uber aggressive creatures with battalion. Here, I don't think I need it. And, you know, 17 cards is a fine number. Do like that I have a couple Martial Glories. When it comes to removal, all I have is a Homing Lightning and an Angelic Addict, which kind of worries me. I mean, I do have a limited Primordial, I guess. But that's way too expensive to really be that reliable. Alright, let's sort by color and see how we go. Bringing in a Guild Gate. Nah. I guess I'll go 9-7. This way I get 10 white sources and 8 red sources, which should be enough to give me, you know, the second mountain for me to cast the Homing Lightning. Alright. Not entirely pleased with this deck. I feel like it could use a better curve, you know, more early creatures and less late game stuff like this thing and this thing. But I guess we shall see how we go.